Okay, so I'm supposed to do this video now. The Lord is the Lord is powerful beyond all things and sovereign. He has no rival. There is no rival for him, none, ever. And to think otherwise is arrogance and foolishness. I haven't been sleeping well, but I suspect most of us haven't. If the Lord has you on this ascension, you probably haven't gotten much sleep, but you do feel energized and refreshed, even if you've just gotten a little bit of sleep, which is amazing. I love the Lord. He's really good like that. I used to struggle with insomnia for years. And then even when I could sleep, it was never enough. I never felt refreshed. I never felt rested. Never. Not in my mind, not in my heart. I just didn't feel rested. But now the Lord has taken that from me. Thank you, Father. 1:11 on the timer. And even if I only sleep for 45 minutes, or even an hour, or less, I wake up feeling refreshed and like I've slept all night. Like the best sleep I ever had. And dreams too. Which is why I'm recording this video. Why the Lord has me recording this video. And he was pretty insistent on it. That I do it now. So I was so I was dreaming about a person that has passed away. They died of a drug overdose, as far as I know. It's somebody I went to high school with. And I didn't stay in high school very long, but I ended up testing out and going to college early at about the age of 15, but this was a person I stayed friends with for a number of years. And the last time I saw them, okay, that doesn't matter. Anyway, I had this dream of this person, and we were eating Taco Bell, of all things. I guess the bell is what's important there. And not the taco part. The Lord is funny. And we went and ordered our food, and we got it back to where we were, and I was taking it out of the bag to give it to him, and it was packed strangely. It had a wooden cross in it, and I thought, is this the food? This is weird. And it was stapled together with so many staples. Like, it was incredible how many like metal staples were in this cross, and it was like laying on top of the food. And I remember taking it out and looking at it and just being like, what in the world is this? This is not, what you usually get from Taco Bell. And taking his food out and taking my food out, and I had set the cross aside after looking at it, and handed his food to him, and he's eating, and he's making a huge mess. I mean, everywhere, just huge mess. And I remember like grabbing a towel, like he was making such a big mess, grabbing a towel and laying it down. 411 on the timer. And so he could, eat, and I wouldn't have to like pick up so much mess. I could just pick up the towel. And this mess was like flowing down the sidewalk from where we were eating. I mean, just a tremendous disaster. And then I went and got my mom, who's also passed away. And I was talking to her about what the Lord had told me, some things he had told me. I told her that the Lord had told me his plans for me, that he told me that I will lead them And the Lord said this to me many times in my waking life as well as my dream life. But this was the first time I had said it out loud to anyone awake or asleep. And I said this to her, and she said, well, what about this and what about that? And I said, the Lord has great plans for me. Don't worry. And then she started to cry. She started to get upset. And she said, I don't want you to abandon me. I don't want you to leave me. And I said, don't worry. And I hugged her. And I looked in her eyes and comforted her. And told her, that the Lord is the best father I could ever have. Don't worry. He has good plans for all of us. And especially for me, like comforting my mother to not worry. 5:55 on the timer. And she kept saying, I don't want you to leave me. I don't want you to leave me. And I said, Mom, I'm not going to leave. I'm not leaving you. I'm going to be about my Father's business. And she seemed to settle down. She seemed comforted by that. And oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. And excuse me. Then there was a woman there who I met in my waking life probably a year and a half ago or so, maybe a little longer, who reminded me very much of my mother in like waking life. And I realized she was one of the soul fragments of my mother. And but in the dream, I remember they were friends and they were like hanging out. They were going to hang out that day. Confirmation. And the two of them were like getting ready for something. I don't know what it was. Some kind of something they were going to, a picnic or a park or something like that. A picnic at a park. And so I see this woman with my mom, and I'm telling her, and this is a woman I know in waking life, and she's alive, and I'm telling her how great her skin looks. Her skin looks great. I mean, I remember looking at her and just saying like, wow, your skin looks great. And she told me there was a skincare line called Intoxency, like Intoxency, that she had been using, and that's why her skin looked so great. And she said she was using a skincare system. And I said, well, that's great. And then I left, and I left them to hang out, and I went back to my friend who was going through my stuff and like just making more of a mess. And I remember telling him he had to leave because I had to clean up after him now, and I had things to do. And I was not annoyed, but just kind of like, how do you, like, you're a grown man, like, how did you leave such a mess? And not, and now he wasn't being very understanding that I had to clean up after him. So I, excused myself from that visit and it began to clean up after him. And so the food was the sustenance of God, was the spirit, like we were eating the sustenance of God. And whereas I was able to consume this food without making a big mess, he was not. And that's indicative of what's going on in this ascension right now. A lot of people have been called and they didn't answer, or they answered, but they answered the call of a different Lord. There are many different gods, many idols, and most people followed them, not the one true living God. They went down a path, left or right. They did not follow the narrow path, and so they make a mess, and they have a spirit of delusion upon them so that they will believe a lie. And this is the Lord's doing, and to not mourn them and to spiritually clean up after them without being resentful about it. And as far as my mother, the people that you will have to separate from them for a time. But they will be brought into your tabernacle. They will be brought with you. It will take time for them to go through the same process that you've been through. But if you've been praying for them, if you've been praying for your family, like I pray for my sister and her family all the time, often, very often. And I haven't spoken with her. I don't know where she is in her walk with the Lord. I don't know if she even acknowledges the Lord. I have no idea. But I pray for her, and I pray for her children, and I pray for her husband. I pray for her marriage. I pray for their jobs. I pray for their ability to educate and provide for their children. I pray for all these things because it's important, even though she and I have not had a relationship for years now, 11/11 on the timer, that it's important to bring your family with you, and it's important to pray for them. No matter what the status of your relationship with them is currently, it's important to pray for them. Pray for them even if you just can't stand them. Pray for them. Pray for them. It's the second commandment we were given, is to love one another as we have been loved by Christ, and it is tantamount that we follow that. The first commandment, of course, being to love the Lord thy God with all you have, your mind, your heart, your body, your everything, your spirit, and to acknowledge him in all of your ways. And the people who have not done that are making a mess of things, and the Lord is in control. That's okay, because the Lord's in control. He's in control of it all. And to relinquish our need to control things, to control the people around us, to bring them with us, they're going to be all right. And you can rest assured that the Lord has them in his hands. And no matter what it looks like, the Lord has the best plan. And you can trust him on that. And some of them, they're going to feel abandoned. They're going to feel like you left them. They're going to feel separate from you. You may even feel this way, but to rest assured, once again, the Lord is in control. He's in control, and you can trust him. He is faithful. He will fulfill his promises, and he will bring them into your tabernacle, and to not be anxious about it. People you've been praying for, they will be brought with you, so you can relax and cast your anxieties upon the Lord, because I know how that feels. Even though all my family is dead except for this one sister of mine, and she and I don't even talk, you can rest assured the Lord has the best plans for you and for them. And children too. I notice that a lot of my audience is male. If you have children that maybe you fathered by a different woman, maybe you're divorced, whatever the situation is, the Lord has them in his hands, and you can trust him. So count it all joy, brothers and sisters, when we face various trials. The Lord has us in his hands. He's in control. He is all-powerful. He's faithful. And he's righteous, and he hates sin, and he's holy. And we can trust him. I think one of the things I love the most about the Lord is that he's faithful. He doesn't change. The Lord is not a man that he should lie, nor repent. He doesn't change his mind on things. He doesn't go back on his promises, is what I'm saying. What I said. So, that was a dream. I hope this video finds you blessed. You are loved beyond measure, and your families will be safe. The changes with them will be more subtle, because the Lord wants to protect their minds and their hearts. And if you've been on this ascension process, you know more than they do. You're further along than they are, more than likely. But you can trust the Lord. You can trust him. Acknowledge him in all of your ways. Love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.